Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse, and in today's segment I wanted to discuss the coming Civil War in the United States. This is going to be some heavy subject matter, and I'm probably going to shatter a lot of people's illusions with the following statements. So if you're not okay with someone looking at you and speaking truth, change the channel. Let's talk about what we're potentially facing in the United States. Historically, whenever we have been confronted with an external threat in the U.S., the British in the Revolutionary War, World War I, World War II, etc., whenever we have been confronted with an external threat, we do very well. We're all, patriotic and united, and let's fight them. It's a tribal thing. It is a tribal phenomenon. It's human nature. However, in the United States, the only thing culturally that we have to keep us together is pop culture. Think about that for a minute. Because we are a melting pot, yes, it does give us strength at times. The diversity gives us strength with creativity, with innovation, with new ideas and adaptability. Yes, diversity is good for adaptability. For cohesion, no. In the United States, because we have so many different people groups, so many different backgrounds, so many different languages, whenever we don't face an external threat, we tear each other apart. Now, how does that play into the coming Civil War in the United States? First off, to say that we will not experience a Civil War in the United States is ignoring reality. We are no different than other countries and empires historically. We have a shelf life. We are overdue for our demise. Depending on how you look at it, we are either overdue for it or right on time. Because we lack a cohesive cultural backing, we tear each other apart whenever we're not facing an external threat. And when we do face internal threats, it can accelerate the destruction. The most likely, in my opinion, the most likely starting point for societal decay that we will experience in our lifetime probably is going to be the monetary system. Whenever your money is devalued, that gets people in a fearful mode. Where fear is, bad decisions start happening. Typically, whenever fear exists, people will start attacking and fractionalizing. So we need to be aware of this in the United States. I hate to burst people's bubbles here. I'm not trying to be unkind or mean. I'm just trying to speak reality and saying that whenever this comes down, folks, this is not going to be don't tread on me, Gadsden flag, one big tea party. That's not how it's going to be. It is probably going to be the messiest, darkest times that we've experienced in this country. I'd be very willing to bet that. Some considerations that we need to tuck in the back of our minds. Abstractly, first off, we've got about 6 different countries going on de facto in the United States right now. Here they are. The Northeast. Look at the gun laws. Northeast, the Deep South, the Appalachian Mountains, its own people. Scots-Irish, yours truly. The border states, the Pacific Northwest, and the Midwest. You've got 6 different countries functionally right there, certainly from a cultural and societal norm standpoint. Why does it behoove us to know this? Why am I mentioning this? Because if you can look at where the cultural lines fall, typically the country lines are going to fall very soon after that. That's one of the reasons why there's been so much trouble in Africa ever since the colonial eras, because the country lines were drawn regardless of the people groups. People groups and tribal cohesion, that is a very good predictor of relative peace in a society. When people have norms that they agree on by default, there's not as much propensity for conflict. That's just how it is. So in the United States, whenever we experience the coming Civil War, it's probably going to be very, very messy. Think about the war between the states, also known as the Civil War. Think about that time frame in our country. We had less cultural diversity then than we do now. It was the bloodiest conflict that we have experienced as Americans, period. More men died in the Civil War than in World War II. Now, the issues that we are facing as a country, in my opinion, parallel the magnitude. Certainly with our money, certainly with our individual rights. I am referring to the Second Amendment here. There are very, very big things at stake here. So, when we're considering the coming Civil War in the United States, we need to wrap our heads around that families can be divided. People groups are going to stick together. This certainly happened in the LA riots. Look at the Koreans. The Korean stores, they were the ones that didn't get looted because the Koreans got together and they sat on top of their shops and they defended their keep, and more power to them. That's probably going to happen too. So, I hate to burst people's bubbles here, but it's not going to be a big giant tea party. It's going to be ugly. And that's a sober thing. That is a long-faced thing. And we need to be ready for it. So what can we practically do now? Well, let's look at history. Let's deconstruct this a little bit. Whenever civil wars happen, there are a few things that always follow. Food shortage and disease. Always, always, always it happens. So we need to be ready for that. Store up your food. Have multiple ways to prepare your food. Have multiple sources of energy. Get your water squared away. That's an important thing. But also get your Band-Aids portion squared away. And it's not enough just to have supplies stored up. You need to know how to use them. That's one of the reasons that I teach the Medical Prep 101 classes. And I encourage you guys to come out to them. But to be very realistic here, the coming Civil War in the United States, I don't know the time frame. It could be 15 years. It could be less than 15. It could be 5. Whether it's 5, 15, 50, or 500, it's coming. It's just a question of when, not if, but when. Talking to one of my friends, yeah, he when I asked him about the issue of the Civil War, he's a man I very, very much respect. He said, "Dear, the thing that you have to be aware of is that in the United States, our lack of cultural norm gives us the ability to make great societal changes on the turn of a dime. For instance, civil rights. Back in the day, in the 50s, it was a taboo, and it was unheard of, rather, certainly in certain parts of the country, for a black man and a white woman to be together. Nowadays, no big deal. That's in the span of 50 years. Now think about this. The same ability that gives us the change on a dime for good can also give us change on a dime for the bad. Because of that, a societal descent in the United States is probably going to happen at a much more rapid rate than other places in the world. So we need to be ready. Get your supplies together. Get your beans, your bullets, your Band-Aids. Network with your people now. Get your little tribes together now. We're going to need it. I don't know when, but it's coming. I want to let you guys know about the upcoming Patriot Nurse Medical Prep 101 classes. I have a ton of classes coming up. June, I'm going to be going to Pawleys Island, South Carolina, then Greenville, then Sacramento, California. That is the only time I will be coming to California. So if you live in California, especially that area in Sacramento, that's it. I will not be coming back to California after this year. Then in July, I'll be going to St. Louis and Kansas City. August is Pittsburgh and Denver, Colorado. September is White Plains, New York. That is the only time I will be coming to New York since they passed the oppressive gun bill. So if you want to see me and you're in New York, that is the only time I'm going to be coming there. October is Las Vegas, November is Oklahoma City, and December is Lakeland, Florida. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a whole bunch of classes there for you guys to choose from. Go ahead and make your way on over to the website to view the course description. Check it out and register today. www.thepatriotnurse.com. Hope it was helpful for y'all. And for now, it's Patriot Nurse signing off, and I'll see y'all later.